in a snap of a second, I said, I guess I am ready. It was this new feeling of doing something that I didn't feel ready for anyway. So I got the intro. I started month after month sharing my expertise on podcasts. Boy, that was a little uncomfortable. Getting on some stages, sharing my expertise, that was a little uncomfortable. And coincidentally, maybe it was fate. Within about 4 or 5 months, I hosted an event and Gary Vee was keynote. All because somebody believed in me. But really, it's just me reframing it in me believing in myself.
If you had a loved one that graduated high school or college in 2020 or 2021, most likely you missed seeing them get their diploma. Yes, you might have watched it on a live stream, but you were not likely there in person. There were very few in-person graduations. That was certainly just one of the devastating effects of COVID-19. Imagine, however, if your income and your entire business model was based on putting on live events and no one was having them. Your business was pretty much over. It was over unless you learned to adapt, pivot, and innovate forward into the unknown, towards discomfort and uncertainty. This is exactly what Daniel Linares had to do, and as a result, ended up with the 2 best years of his entire business career. How is this possible? Question is, how do you take bold and confident action towards your goals when those very actions can cause you great discomfort or uncertainty? That's what Daniel's going to share with you. Instead of producing traditional in-person events, he put on 170 plus virtual and hybrid events and had the best years in his company's history. It's amazing how high you can fly when you don't put on self-imposed imaginary limitations on what seems possible for you. Daniel's title is Reaching Impossible Heights by Embracing Discomfort. Please help me welcome via Zoom a high-performance coach and the founder of DLE Event Group, Daniel Linares.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Reaching Impossible Heights by Embracing Discomfort. I want you to think of a goal or dream that you've been wanting to pursue but haven't. It could be learning a new skill. It could be doing something new in your business. It could be taking on a new hobby. It could be recording your first YouTube video. It could be doing a 10-minute talk. What haven't you done, but deep down, you really want to do? Right now, I want you to write it down or keep it top of mind during this talk. Now, this goal or dream hasn't been started or moved forward because in your mind, you may be saying the following: I'm not worthy. I'm not ready yet. There'll be a better time. I'll do it in the new year. I'm not wired that way. It's not my personality type. It's too scary. It's too much into the unknown. I don't want to be judged by others. My anxiety is too intense every time I think about doing it. Can you relate? I want to share something with you that's changed my life. 3 life-changing secrets that allowed me to reach out and pull my dreams toward me that you can use as well. My dreams that I've achieved include dream wife, dream wedding, dream puppy child, dream honeymoon. Italy was fantastic, by the way. Dream home, dream network. Just gonna let that one sit a second so you guys can see a couple of faces there. amongst other dreams, including dreams around family, business, health, lifestyle. I want to tell you about something that happened at an Orlando mastermind. This was about 5, 6 years ago, and I was new to the personal development space. I was new to the thinking bigger space. And somebody by the name of Trish turned to me. She said, Dan, I know somebody, her name is Sharon. She got me on podcasts, she got me on stages, and she was very reasonably priced. I was like, wow, that's amazing. She's like, within about 5 months, I was on a panel with Gary Vaynerchuk. I was like, wow, that's incredible. I told somebody who was invited as a guest, a gentleman by the name of Akbar Sheikh. Some of you may know him, met him through the ClickFunnels world. I said, Akbar, Trish got on stages and podcasts and within a very short amount of time had all this success. We then had lunch together the next day. It was a mastermind type of home setting, so it was casual. People were sitting all throughout the house during lunch. And she said, Akbar, would you like me to give you an intro so that you can share your message on podcasts, on stages, and spread your wings? She's like, absolutely, I'd love an intro. Then Trish turns to me and she says, Dan, would you like me to give you an intro? I said, I'm not ready, but maybe down the road. Then Akbar turns to me and he says, Dan, you're ready, bro.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to let you know that I have a new book that's come out, and if you'd like to get it absolutely free, there's a link below in the description, or you can wait till the end of this video, or you can simply go to joesfreebook.com and you can get a copy there.
And in a snap of a second, I said, I guess I am ready. It was this new feeling of doing something that I didn't feel ready for anyway. So I got the intro. I started month after month sharing my expertise on podcasts. Boy, that was a little uncomfortable. Getting on some stages, sharing my expertise, that was a little uncomfortable. And coincidentally, maybe it was fate. Within about 4 or 5 months, I hosted an event and Gary Vee was keynote. All because somebody believed in me. But really, it's just me reframing it in me believing in myself. Spring of 2020, this is what Joe mentioned in the beginning. My entire wedding entertainment, corporate entertainment, and production company was done. The entire live events world froze. Very quickly, after a short vacation of 1 or 2 weeks off, I'm sure many of you could relate of what are we going to do about it? It was a decision to adapt into a completely new vertical. And we said all of these schools need help. So within a couple of weeks of hustling and trying to find decision makers within New York City, where I currently live, just for the rest of the month, and then moving on to other places, I got an interview with the lead department head of New York City schools around technology. He said, could you do 20 to 30 virtual graduations? I said, in my head, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But what is a virtual graduation? We never had a need for this. But I said yes anyway. And I've learned this, and it's probably one of the best secrets to continuing to rise, and that is resourcefulness. Who do I know that can help? Was going to be what we're going to figure out. So 2020, instead of 20 to 30 graduations, we did 65 in 2021. The new unknown was needing to do 75 virtual and the new 35 live stream outside, without power, without internet. Just continues to throw these new unknown scenarios. And so I'm gonna show you what I call the mindset secrets and how you could apply them into goals or dreams that you're working towards. First, a quote that I couldn't agree more with. We suffer more often in our imagination than in reality. Secret number one, change the relationship you have with your butterflies. Butterflies, also known as anxiety, also known as overwhelm, also known as stress. I'll never forget Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, by the way. Kobe Bryant said, I used to ignore the emotions inside of me. I used to try to push them to the side and continue through playing my game. But it wasn't until I acknowledged them, I felt them, accepted them, saying that I see you, I feel you, that he was able to confidently move forward and become used to those emotions. So change the relationships with what you have inside of you. This was a big shift for me. Oh my goodness, this feeling inside of me is going to bring me back to comfort. Nope, I'm going to move forward and treat it as what growth feels like. Secret number two, coach yourself in the moment. As I alluded to earlier, overwhelm is mostly self-induced. Oh my goodness, how are we going to do 104 events in 4 weeks? This is so much. That was all in my own imagination. How can I be resourceful? How can I think through bringing it to life, making it possible? And now I almost laugh at overwhelm. So I'll coach myself in the moment. I'll imagine a miniature Daniel up here above my shoulder. This is a true story. I do this all the time. And that Daniel is coaching me. Daniel, do you need to be anxious or overwhelmed right now? Or is it just something new or unfamiliar? And it's just your body trying to bring you back to comfort. Resourcefulness solves all problems. It's such a big aha moment for me. Your Genius Network can help you solve your problems. Secret number three, sometimes you need someone to believe in you for you to believe in yourself. Now, I want you to recall the goal or dream that I told you to think about in the beginning. Do you feel any different about it now? Now, here's how you use secret number one. Change the relationship you have with the butterflies and remind yourself that those emotions are what growth feels like. Resourcefulness, or who not how, allows you to skip overwhelm. Ask yourself, who's the master of this domain that can help me? Using secret number two, when the go back to safety emotions come around, stop, coach yourself. You say, self, are you really overwhelmed? Are these emotions only happening because I've never been here before? I got this. It's new territory, but I'm going to do it anyway. Using secret number three, if someone who told me that I'm ready changed my belief in the matter of 1 second, I'm here to tell you, you're ready. The three secrets are: change the relationship you have with your butterflies. Coach yourself in the moment. Sometimes you need someone to believe in you for you to believe in yourself. And that someone can change your life. And that someone can change your life. I'm here to be that someone for you. You are ready. You got this. Thank you.
Bravo.
Well, if you've met Daniel, the one thing you know about him is his smile, his positive energy, and he's just such a loving, outgoing soul. And you did that by opening a virtual call without a slide. And you gave us that full screen of you to connect with you, and then went to the slides. And that's what you need to think of. Don't open with your slide, open with a full face so we can connect. And he's got a simple background so there were no distractions. And it was a simple message, again, being discomfort or getting into that area of discomfort. And then he gave you an assignment right away to think of that goal. And then he came back at the very end and said, remember that goal I asked you to think about? How do you feel about that now? That's a great thing for you to do. Open with something, tie your closing back to your opening. And then he told us about 3 secrets, the power of 3. You know, in 10 minutes, you can't talk about everything you know. As a matter of fact, here are 6 words as you're listening to what I'm saying, you're never going to hear anybody say to you. Talk as long as you want. No one's going to say that to you. You know so much. So how do you do it? And that's what Daniel did. Kept it simple on Discomfort, gave us 3 secrets, gave us a story, gave us an example, and it was something that you could relate to. And then the other thing, which is so important, when you ask people to do something in your message, the call to action. The goal is only one response from your audience. Well, I can do that. And that's what you gave us, Daniel. Those 3 things you asked us to do as Genius Network members were doable. And that's your assignment when you give a 10-minute talk. Make sure it's doable and then add the Daniel smile and joy to it. Congratulations, big virtual hug, and make it a great day.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you. Thank you.
Genevieve, you've got what do you got on your shoulder there?
Baby Yoda. Oh,
Baby
no.
Yoda. Well, you just dropped Baby Yoda.
I just dropped
Look at
baby.
that.
I'm supposed to drop the baby, but I
That is
did.
so cute. That is awesome. I love
Please
that.
forgive me.
We should probably get me one of those, just like a little parrot that talks. That's fantastic.
Daniel's talk was awesome. Daniel, I loved it. Very inspiring.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Is that your coach? Is that Yoda your coach?
Yeah, he's telling me what growth feels like.
That's awesome.
It's actually, I mean, this totally fits what you just talked about. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Awesome. Okay.
And Genevieve has it figured out already.
Hey,
Thank you, Daniel.
I loved your talk because I really enjoyed the fact that a well-placed encouragement can change somebody's lives. And so we need to think about that as we're building our own teams and our customers and our clients, to be an encourager and, not just positive, but actual belief and encouragement. And so I appreciate that. What somebody did for you, you've turned into being able to share with the rest of us. So I appreciate that much.
Cool. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy. Mike, what do you got?
I just want to say a big thank you to Daniel. A week or so ago, I reached out on the Facebook page just looking for resources and support with my imposter syndrome. I have a message I want to share with the world, and I'm terrified. And many members reached out, and I got a lot of amazing value, and Daniel's value in particular. As we were on a call, we were talking about it and why it could be. And then he just said, okay, well, let's do a Facebook Live right now. And of course, my guts liquefied and I started chickening out. And I said, well, I can't do it right now. And he said, no, let's do it right now. And he pushed and pushed. I said, well, why don't we book something next week? He's like, yeah, sure. Okay. But how about right now? And he kept going at me. And he's like, Mike, it'll be good for you. I promise. Let's just do it right now. And of course, now I'm like needing a washroom somewhere. And so I told him about my abject fear and where it comes from. And I said, let me breathe. I'm freaking out right now. Tomorrow morning, let's do this. And he said, okay, but no, we should do it right now. I did get my stubborn way and we booked it in. We put it on the calendar for the next day. But when I went home that night and I was planting some tomatoes in the new greenhouse, I got frustrated and I set up my phone and I recorded my first ever video and published it that night. And then, of course, followed through with a Facebook Live with him the next day. And it literally is made up in your head. And sometimes you do need that champion or that person to say, you can do this. I believe in you. And so, Daniel, thank you. And it, yeah,
You're
impacted
welcome.
me on a deep level.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, Mike. Oftentimes, it's the thought of doing it that is way more traumatizing than actually doing it, right? It's like you've never been there before. So if you can, the reason why I said do it now is I always relate this to like networking or, some of you have heard the story, but, it took me approaching my now wife 4 times for her to say, yes, I'll have a drink with you, right? So like, sort of the persistence there, but just the approach anxiety of even approaching somebody in a business sense of let me go network with Whitney Jones. Oh my goodness, look how much Whitney has done. And so there are all the stories of why I'm not worthy to talk to Whitney, for example, because I see her camera right here. By the way, I think Joe said 10-minute talk, and it set a timer on my phone as he was saying it. So anyway, the thought of the reason why I told Mike to do it now is it gave him less time to talk himself out of it, right? When you could just do it, and so like if I met my now wife in a nightclub in Atlantic City. I played a poker tournament. She was there at the Borgata, and I could have stood around for an hour and said, okay, I'm going to eventually walk up to her. But no, in 10 seconds, I have no excuse to walk up to her. Same thing in business. Oh my gosh, it's Dan Sullivan. Oh my God, Joe Polish. Oh my gosh, it's, all of these people that have done, quote unquote, more than I have. But the faster you're able to just say, I'm going to do it anyway, the less time you have to talk yourself out of it. And so it's this emotional understanding of, boy, this is really uncomfortable, but I'm just going to push forward anyway. And it's only going to give me 10 seconds to be uncomfortable. That's why I said, Mike, let's do it right now. He hasn't flexed those emotions. But what I'd implore to everybody in here is, if you're someone that is maybe a perfectionist, that isn't comfortable with, sort of these new things, or waiting until the time is right, to just do it faster, perfect it along the way. And it couldn't be more true. We've heard this in different ways from different people. Timothy Paulson shared an incredible, I think it was the Joe-isms, or the 5 things of that he shared in January, I believe, December, around how important it is to just take imperfect action, perfect it along the way. But thanks for sharing that, Mike. And now and so we did the talk, and he's like, when are we doing the next one? And so I love that, man. And the next one's to come. And just thanks everybody for your support.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. They're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.